couple of years ago we needed a space for our Year 12s. We are a school in growth, so it was really important that we could relocate our Year 12 students and accommodate the growth, but also with the introduction of a new SACE curriculum for senior students to create a learning space where young people could be engaged in making that transition between school-based learning and the kind of learning required at the university level. So we needed a space that could be flexible, that could be used for both formal learning, informal learning, group work, but also as a kind of study centre focus for students as well, where they didn't have to be actively supervised by teachers. So it was quite a brave concept, and the most challenging thing was we didn't have a lot of money or time because we couldn't actually move the students to another location while such a facility was being built. We had 5 transportables on the site that we've now put the Ausco building, but by working with Ausco we were able to actually get 8 learning spaces plus some toilets plus a teacher preparation area on the same site and in the same space as we'd had the 5 relocatable buildings. This was quite new thinking. Marg Heath, our business manager, had worked at another site where they had used Ausco, so she actually understood modular buildings very well. I understood the kind of learning space that I wanted, which was basically, I said to Marg, we need an aircraft hangar and then we can reinvent it in whatever way we need it to suit and be fit for purpose. And she said, well, I think Ausco is going to be the way to go. And I went and had a look at a couple of the school halls that Ausco had built around Adelaide, and I was really impressed by what I saw. So modular was perfect for 2 reasons. One is, from the design concept to the open for learning stage was about 8 months. Now that's unheard of when you're building purpose-built learning spaces. The other thing that really appealed to us was we didn't have to shut down a whole range of our site in order to have builders and bulldozers and cranes here. It was built in modular format and then basically reassembled on our site, which when you live in the Adelaide Hills meant that you didn't have lots of concrete trucks driving up and down the freeway and into a fairly closed little school environment. So we didn't have to relocate students. We didn't have to shut off a whole section of our school. And more importantly, the assembly process was so efficient and effective that it meant that we weren't without that learning space for really just a whole term. Was the only time that we were inconvenienced. I think the greatest benefit has been, even though it was modular in conception and construction, we were able to work with Ausco to do a couple of interesting changes to the basic plan. The first was we actually heightened the ceilings so that we had higher ceilings, because the psychology of space is actually really important, particularly when you have such a long and open space as this. So a sense of light, a sense of space. We were also able to push the engineers to the very edge so that the space is actually significantly wider. I think it's about 1.5 times the size of what a traditional modular relocatable transportable building would have been. And the third thing was we were able to do the same construct with the verandas, so that downstairs we have a range of classrooms that have interconnecting doors, but they're wider. The ceilings are higher. The ceilings are significantly higher upstairs, which gives a lovely sense that you get very often when you walk into entrances of large buildings, that you feel glad to be in that space psychologically. It allows more light in. Ausco were able to clad the external walls so that it fitted in with the ambience and the colour scheme of the rest of our building. But also for me, one of the significant amendments that I love was the acoustic treatment. Very often when you have large open spaces in the old modules, they were very echoey and cold, and also the light kind of got absorbed into them, so they always looked like dark spaces. Nothing could be reflected in that way in this building. It's light, it's open, the students and staff love working in it, and it has that lovely sense of, I guess, the psychology of feeling that you're in a space that you want to be in, and that it's a space that embraces you and adds colour and life to the learning. It's fit for purpose, it's flexible in the range of purposes it can be used for, but it's also just a great space to be in.